So, into the memory organization or memory management of the programming. So, whatever the programming you are going to write, right? So, with respect to the initialized variables or uninitialized variables, so that will be stored in the part of a memory. Okay. So, the memory, it will be differentiated in many ways, like the stack memory, and we have the registers here, and next we have the heap memory, and so between we have the BSS. So next we have the static and static memory, and we call as a data, and next we have the code segment, like memories we are called as a segments means it will be the separate layers. So with all this the whatever the programming we are making, it will be stored. And some of the initialized and uninitialized in programming, we have the local variables or the global variables. Okay, so and moreover, we have initialization, uninitialization. So this will be differentiated. Okay, so how this will be differentiated with respect to the programming is, so whatever the programming we are writing, it will store in specific part of locations in the segments. Like this is a registers. Okay, so we usually called as a storage classes. Okay, so with the help of the storage classes, whatever the variables or the programming we are writing, it will store in specific locations. Okay, so what are the storage classes we have? We have the auto. Auto will be there. So whenever you declare int, right? So this will be automatically the variables. It will be stored in the part of the memory. Okay, so that is the stack and data. So it will be storing here. And coming to the so here, like we discussed, it is the initialization of the data that we are storing it. And we have some part of registers. So when we are writing the programming in embedded C or anything, so like register int like that we'll give. So when you will give this, so it will store in only the specific location of registers. And similarly, like we have the BSS. So this is without initialization, we are giving the data. Like if I give int 10, so that time I don't have the storage, means the data type I don't have. So just I am giving a equals to 10. So that time it will store here. Like the programming wise, we whatever the variables we are defining with initialization or an uninitialization or global, so it will be separately differentiated. Okay, the programming wise. So we'll discuss in detail again. Memory organization or memory layout or memory storage. Okay, so here the code segment will be there. The first what and all it will be, it is only read only, means the constant variables will be stored here. So in the programming, when we are writing the programming, sometimes we should not change the values. Okay, so that time we'll write like a constant int a equals to 10, because other person should not change the a value once it is, if you write the program like constant int a equals to 10. So in that code, it means whenever we declare it, so in the codes, in the memory, it will be stored in the code segment. Okay, and next is the part of the, if you not written, you can write down this, so maybe it will helpful for you, because when we are doing the testing, like if you say I am doing the memory testing and I used to check the CPU utilization, this is also part of a testing only. Okay, so that time you need to understand the memory, how it is storing. Okay, so you can write down this flow chart. Okay, like flow chart or the block diagram, you can say. So it is a code read only constant int. Okay. So means whatever the like CPU, it have executable code, right? So instructions. So that instructions will be stored in the code segment. Executable. You can write down executable. So for this executable instructions. Executable instructions will be stored here. Okay, it is a read only. It will be in a text format. Okay. And next we have the data and static segment. Okay. So here it will store the initialized data. Initialized data. It will be stored as a initialized data. Okay. So this is like the storage class is extern. Okay. So when we write extern in the programming, we'll write like extern. So when we are writing extern, so that parameters, like if I write like extern int a equals to 10. Okay. So that time that a equals 10, it won't store here because only it allowed only constant. In X, when we write this extern, that time it will be stored in a data and static segment. Okay, this is very important for developers. Okay, so like where the data will be stored extra when they uh, when initializing or uninitializing. Okay. Next, coming to the BSS segment, that is a blocks size of symbol, block start off by symbol. Okay, so block start off by symbol, BSS. You can write the full form of this. Block started by symbol. Okay, here, whatever uninitialized data. So when you are not initialized properly. Okay, so like you will return like extend. So when you were written like this, so extend int a equals to means here you initialized it. Okay, so just you given the a value as a 10 and it is a data type of integer and the storage class is extend. So when you write like extend int a, so that time what will happen? You are not allocated any value here, just you have a box, and in the box we don't have any storage, means no value is there in that case. So that will be a part of the uh, uninitialized data. So it will be the uninitialized data. We usually say as a uninitialized data. You can write down the example of like this. So it will be stored in this BSS state. Okay. And what is that? So when first in the programming, if you are writing like external integer means somewhere you are give this box, it will take some values means, so that it will be a part of a global variables. So that will be the global variables. Okay. So next we have the heap segment, means that is the heap memory. Okay. So what is this? So the heap memory is generally like when we are using the pointers. Okay. So somewhere the memories I need to allocate continuously. So that time this heap memory will be taking. Okay. So you can consider like here also the uninitialized data means I written like the int pointer of p. Okay. So means there is a one box. Additionally, there is a overloaded means because of the pointers. Okay. This is another concept. Okay. So here uninitialized data will be stored for that heap memory. And when there is another memory, that is a stack memory. So once this stack memory is full dead, then it will use the heap memory. So memory, as I told you, memories will start from lower to this. Sorry, this will be the higher memory. The first, it will start from stack, and it will go from low. Means from high to low, it will be the storage will be like this. Okay, is it clear still now? So here in the stack memory, like local variables will be stored. Okay, so like storage class, if it is a auto, when you are doing like defining like there is nothing is there, so int if we declare, so it will be stored in this part of memory. Okay, is it clear still now? You are able to getting it? What is the memories like? What are the segments it have? So for better to remember on the storage classes, we have three types, sorry, four types. So the storage classes you can write down storage classes, extern, static. Okay, when you declare extern static, right? So that time the memory will be different. And when we'll be declaring auto, it's the storage will location will be different. And we have a registers. These are the four types, and we have other type also, that is a type def. Okay, so we are not, that is not much required. Only this is very important to know. So whenever you declare like auto, means whenever you declare like int a, that time it will be stored in the part of heap memory. Okay, so means uh, whatever the uninitialized data, that will be stored in a part of a the heap memory in the memory segment. When you declare like static int, so that time it will be stored in the part of data on static memory. And next, when we declare the extern, so that time it will be stored in a part of the data segment, data and static. So this, when you declare extern static, at the time it will be stored in a data and static memory. When you declare the auto, it will be stored in the stack memory. Means these are the local variables. The program, when it will start executing right within the loop, so it will be stored in the stack memory. And coming to the registers, so this is for specifically for reading of the information from the specific address. So this is a registers. Like in CPU, we have right the register. So the registers control, that is a for the temporary storages, but this is a very faster. You are able to access the data very quickly, and you are able to update the data very quickly when you declare the registers. So how we are declaring in the registers means register int, like if it is an integer, and a like 0x01 a. So this is a address location. Okay, so like address location of one controller pin. Okay, so like this we are writing it. So means whenever you need to read this pin information, if you declare like register, it will be a faster, and it will read the data accurately. Accuracy will be there, and it will be faster. So that's how this registers will be using. And when we declare the int, okay, so int a equals to 10 means default it what type of a storage class it will be, means it will be auto. Means you don't want to take you don't want to write auto int. Okay, so default it will be taking as a auto only. So when you are writing like int, and I don't want to change the values continuously. Once the when you declare static, right, the memory, like if you consider like int a equals to 5 I given, okay, and it is a static. So when you give this, so it will store the value of 5. And when you include the programming of for loop, like I need to print from 1 to 3, 4, 5, like I need to print it. So how at that time what will happen? It will store 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. It will keep on storing the values in blockwise, like when you declare a static. So this static will be stored in the data on static segment. So, but when you are writing this static, you need to always write like static int. And next will be the code segment. Here you will write like a constant int a. So that time you cannot change the values. So these are the difference. Like we are going to only the top level of understanding of the concepts. Okay, so next, what are the other concepts we need to discuss? We need to discuss about the arrays and function. Okay, so how we are writing the function? If I write like main here with brackets, right? So this is a main function. So because when I write the text as a main, this is a text. Okay, when I use this symbol change this as a function. Okay, so because of the text and with this symbol, now it is a function. What is a function? Where it will do some task, where it will do some task or some activity, or in our word, we can say it will do some work. So that is what the function. Okay, and if something it is there within the bracket, like we have some keyword, I have some data type. Okay, like last time we discussed, I need to convert the one data type to another data type. Integer I have, that integer I need to convert to character. So means whenever I will within the bracket I write like say data type, it will be the part of a typecasting, converting one data type to another data type. So those are the concepts we discussed previously. And within the programming, when we are writing, right? So like the loop will be there and the main will be the main function. So when we are writing the programming, so within the loop, we called as a local variables. Okay. So when this out of loop we have, right? So this we called as a global variables. So we have some instructions, some programming. So in this case, it will be the global variables. It will be. So this is what one point you should remember. And we started with the array. Okay. So we are not discussing how to access the array variables and all, just how we are declaring the array. So that we learn it. So like if I say int a, right here the bracket. So these square brackets, it gives the storage. So how much storage you need? If I give empty, so here you can do how much values you are able to do. But in case, uh, if you are saying that I need to store only one value, you need to store only one, then only you are able to access. Like if you give the printf of a, so it will print the whatever the value it will be stored. Like it is a kind of a small box. I am saying that I need to store only one box. So you are adjusting as a one value only. If you say that I need to store give two values, it won't allow. It will throw error saying that whatever the array you defined or initialized here, it can hold only one value. So one integer value it can store. Okay. So like that, and these will be stored. Okay. Like if I say I have integer of three values, how I need, this is a integers. Okay. So in terms of integer, how I can store it. So when you are writing 1, 2, 3, so like this, you will be storing storing of three integer values within the square bracket. So if I don't want the integers, I need to store the characters. How I need to write? But in the programming, when we are writing the characters, we should be very careful because the controller or the computer should understand what exactly you written. Okay, so what will be the format of the characters or the syntax that you are using? Okay, so that is a one other concept, the storing of the strings, characters will be different here. Suppose I need to have the three names, two names I need to give. Example, if you take this is a characters. Okay, this is a part terms of integer we are storing, and this is a terms of a characters. Okay, so like assume that if when I will write the colon of single colon will be considered as a character A and B. So this is a characters, so that we means program can understand whatever you written the programming A B is the characters. Okay, so because the program, whatever ASCII table we discussed, right? So if you try to read the value of A, so it will be 65, and the other value it will be 92. So like that, there will be the difference in the ASCII table. But when we are trying to print, so when we need to print this values, how I can print? Okay, so this is the storage values. Like I have a two boxes. In that two boxes, I store A, B. I need to read this value of A. So integer, like printf, if you give and A, I. So means the index we call as a index. So the index it will starts always 0, 1, 2. It will be like this. So whenever I will write like 0, so A1 means that in that case it will be print B only. This is the character it is going to print. If I give 0 means it will print A. So this is a character it is printing. You cannot print like directly the A or B. Okay. So that is the other step of the characters. So in the arrays that we are defining it. So just for understanding the strings, you can write the small heading strings. Strings ends with null. Strings ends with null. Null means nothing it will be. Next, string is a group of characters. String is a group of characters. Okay. So string is a group of characters. So when we are writing this string, no, like imagine like I need to I'm writing to print the data percentage of D, percentage of D, percentage of D, percentage of D. Means this will be the decimals. Okay. So if I give like this, the decimals, I need to print size of means the integer, like integer, I need to find out the size of, if I give the size of int means the memory which we discussed, right? How many bytes of data, like 4 bytes it will store in the memory. So that 4 will get. Okay, to know how much memory is utilizing the integer or integer or characters. So we are giving like a size of. Okay, so size of integer is uh, if you give like this size of integer, we'll get the 4. Okay, now I don't want to give the internal. So just I need to give only the values of integer and characters. So how I'm giving is, so just I'll give like size of 0. So whenever you are giving within the bracket the data type, so this it will store like a integer. When you will give like size of um, backward slash 0, this will be stored because because of this colons it will be a characters because of the colons. And when we declare like size of double colon, okay, so I'm writing like this. So it that time it will be the integer. Whenever you declare so normally with double colon, single colon, and without colon. So that is a difference. Like without colons, anything. So that will be the integer. And with have the single colon, it will be the character, and double colon, it will be the integer. Okay. So still now you are clear. These are the some basic information to of the programming. Okay. Now we'll start understanding about what is a function. So you can write down the functions. A function is set of statements set of statement to perform a specific task. As I told you, right? So it has some instructions to do some work or event or activity. So this is the definition. Okay. Next, what is the syntax? How many ways the program that we are writing for functions? So when we write like function integer, okay. So as I told you, when we write the main square brackets only, we call as a function. So within the just the value anything, it will be like we are writing like a function, just the name to understand the function I given here, and within the bracket I given like the storage, means storage of a value, that is a data type, right? So when I give like this data type, means this data types we call as a parameters, because we should not say always data types when we are writing within the function. So these are the parameters. Okay. So even now I need to add another two variables. How I can do? So just I can write like int a, int b. I need to have these are the two parameters we have. Now I need to have three parameters. So function integer a comma int b comma int c. Like this, we need to give comma and we need to separate. These are the parameters like we are giving it. Okay. So suppose let's take it. I need to add the two values like 2 comma 3. These are the two values. I need to do some addition. Okay. So when how I need to do the addition of these two values. Okay, and how I need to do perform the multiplication. How I will write a small program for understanding this of the functions. So here, like if you write integer, this is a function a comma int. Okay, and as I told you, whenever we'll start write the program, it will start from main. Next we have the int a like 2 b equals to 3. So you know about calculators, right? So calculators, whenever we give the values, so the input, and it will take the output and it will print us. So give the final result. So similarly, like the calculator also have a small programming inside. So based upon the programming information, it will work. So int a to b c. Okay, so I will write like a function, because this are the variables. I will write like this function a comma b. Okay, I need to print right output. So percentage of d, two decimals are there, and comma a comma b. Okay, so now whenever I will write like this, so there will be the part of printing of the output. Now I will close it. So this is the actual program. Okay, we call actual arguments. And next we need to give the formal arguments. So how I am defining integer function int a comma int b. And next is, because I need to monitor output, right? So like here C equals to A plus B. I can write directly A plus B because these are the arithmetic operators I need to do. So before doing that, here I need to do some initialization. So here I am initializing like C equals to function A comma B. So C equals to A plus B if I give, okay, now I need to give return because return means uh, it will search for the function. Okay, so where it will search. So whenever I will write like this return C, this value output will be returned. Okay, so this we call as the formal arguments. Formal arguments means these are the functions. So what will happen whenever I will give 2, 3 as a inputs? So now the final output will be written here. Means this is a functions concepts. Okay, so you don't want to do you need to do normal operation and then you need to print it. So without function, how I can write like int equals to b, sorry, int equals to 1, I can give b equals to 2. So these are the two integers. So my final output is int so you cannot int equals to a plus b. So without function, you can print the value within the 3 lines. But some of the programming is required. You need to print the output. You need to do multiple operations because programs are lengthy. Like it will be like 1,000 lines, 10,000 lines of programming will be there. Those who are working developers, so they need to know the how the functions are following the references. It have two things like call by reference and call by function. Okay, so that depends upon the software implementation, they will do it. Okay, so we're not going in detail again. So this is all about the functions. Is there any doubts like the syntax or the format, how the functions will be defined? Okay, and now coming to the pointers. So pointers, you can write down the pointers. So I shared you the material, right? You can go through it in detail if you needed the information. So those who are interested and like who are to know the basic level, you can go these video sections and the material, the short notes which I given. So that may help you to the understanding of the basic programming. Okay. So pointers is a variable which stores the address of another variable. Address of another variable. Just pointers means in the programming it will be a star. This we call as a asterisk. Okay, so asterisk we call. So how we are storing these pointers? So whenever if I declare int a equals to 5, the a is the value, 5 is the value which I am storing it, which means whenever I will use single value, we call as a assign. Okay, just we are giving the information that the file now my a value is 5. Okay, that is the assigning. If it is a double equal, it is a comparison. Okay, don't get confused. It is a comparison. So now coming to the pointers. So how I can give this value for the, because now it is storing only in box, but this box needs some address, right? So for that, we need to go with the pointers. Int pointer of P and address of A. Now, this A got some address. So with the help of when you declare like array, so that you are addressing to the pointer means, so now box is there. Now box got some identification saying that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. This is address. So now that address is we are allocating to star P. So that is a pointers. Like we'll know small program about this, how the program we'll write in main and int a equals to 10 and int star p equals to a Okay, and printf percentage of d, percentage of d. Okay, and percentage of d. We'll consider like we'll take a, b, and all. Okay, we need to know what are the values. So if I print, I need to print a, what is the value I store. Now I need to print star p because I need to know the address of this. Now I need to print to know the value of so a is, we know, address of this is the same. Okay, so it have some memory, so we'll try to print it. Okay, on a star p. So what happens here is 10 is the address of address, 10 is the value, so it is a address of p, means whatever we are writing, right? So this is when with respect to on. So when we write like unday, it is a